I enjoy working there, but there are other things I want to do.
Like what?
Well, eventually, I'd like to get married and have kids. I said eventually, you don't have to panic.
We had talked about naming our kids. I just thought that was somewhere off in the future. And as much as I hate to admit it, all I kept thinking was, Drew, you will never, ever sleep with another woman again. Ever.
Love is a BS word. You yourself have, and most people in the radio audience, have done things that they're sorry for. They've done things that they thought were insufficient, all of us. So sometimes you love yourself, sometimes you don't, sometimes you hate yourself. So if you marry somebody, sometimes you love them very much, sometimes a little less, sometimes you're disappointed in them. So love is not a fixed thing. It's a fluctuating situation. If you marry a girl that has 7 qualities that you like, after you're married 5 years, you meet another girl that has 27 qualities that you like. You can't help but feel for that person.
In the future, you'll probably love as many people who are lovable. You'll share ideas and values with many people, and you probably won't have one person that's a possession. Today, a lot of people who are married, that's their possession. And if anything happens to them, if they die, it's really terrible that that's the only people that they share their lives and their values and their work with.
So you see, all our values, the way we look at the world, we've learned that at a certain time. And I'm saying that in the future, people will be very different than we are today. People will not use the word love. They'll use the word extensionality. I associate with a person because they enhance my life. They make my life easier. We have a lot in common. We understand each other in many different areas. And as the years go by, we've increased and improved our relationship. That's what love will really become. Today it's just a word, like religion is a verbal hobby. On a radio broadcast, Larry King once asked me what I thought of Christianity. And I said, it's a great idea. Why are they putting it into practice? Well, you brought the word up, emotion. That's one of the major problems. Korzybski called it thalamic behavior. And behavior that was rational, he called cortical behavior, referring to the cortex of the brain. Now, emotional behavior really might spike you to feel a certain way, good or bad or right or wrong, but cortical behavior is to point out the shortcomings so that people can avoid accidents or fire. You teach them how to handle varying situations. For example, if there's an automobile accident and the children are trapped in the car and the gasoline is spilling over the engine and the mother says, oh my God, my children are trapped in the car, they're going to burn to death, that's thalamic behavior. If she picks up a log or a rock and breaks the windows and pulls the chicken out or the children out, that's cortical behavior. We want to convert all emotions into useful directions as near as we're able to.
I like the example of when there's a cliff, a road on a side of a cliff, and the car might go over and somebody gets in an accident and the first person comes to them and they're hurt and they hold their hand and they cry with them and they say they are there. But then there's the doctor that acts upon it and mends them and fixes them. But the engineer that you hear nothing about, who comes along and puts a wall on the side of the road or tilts the road and puts a brake so there are no accidents, you don't hear anything about those in society. And those are the people that really should be honored.
I couldn't agree more. I used the example of, Mother Teresa versus Louis Pasteur. And, people always have an emotional affiliation and identification with the generosity of this person, yet they don't realize that the scientists have done more for humanity than all of the, philanthropists combined.
Right, and if you designed a society where you don't need charity, that's a higher form of concern and compassion.
Absolutely. It's almost,
Unfortunately, Peter, the society does that when they work on you. Each society emphasizes certain types of emotions. In motion pictures, soap operas, we learn it. We learn to be emotional,
right.
We learn to be irrational, and we learn to be what some people call stupid by associating with stupid people. The more irrational people you associate with, the more difficult it is for your behavior to become sane. We resent a murderer or a thief. We resent that, but we don't resent war. That's amazing. If somebody kills somebody, we get angry. The abortionists, those that are against abortion, you'd imagine they'd be at the forefront against war because it kills everybody. Right. Unborn children, women, everybody. And you'd imagine they'd line up against war. But the brain is so manipulated by the culture, they become angry at using the wrong fork. You know, if you go to dinner at a proper place, use the wrong fork, people become angry and disappointed in you. But if you're a racist, they don't, which is amazing. The Ku Klux Klan once had 3 million members. That just shows you where society is. We are not civilized yet. We've got a long way to go. We live in a very unsane culture. I do not believe we'll make the history books of the future, except as a pathetic development in human evolution.
A human being must distinguish between imagination, marriage, and reality, physical attraction, sex, admiration for other people. When you know the reality, you will make decisions accordingly, and you will not unconsciously comply to the culture in which you were born, and, the most, you will accept these situations as some rituals, but being aware of them. The monetary system maintains this culture by promoting the family idea even more, creates a big business from this. From holidays, to specific objects for family or house and car idea, which comes with a family foundation, all are just consumption for the monetary system. It's very strange how human beings, although many of them are complying to the culture, in this case through marriage, then family, and once they are entering the world of pact with another person and forming a family, they were missing millions of opportunities to meet other people. We are so many, but we know so little.